This is Hoot and Holler, a podcast about the Ozarks. Okay, go ahead, Josh. Tom Cott.
Oh no, I thought he did something stupid. But
Did he speak?
Can't find it now.
Did he speak at CPAC?
He did.
Yeah, that's what he did.
He did speak, but he's like Josh Hawley, where he doesn't say anything new or interesting. That he just repeats the same stuff. So he's not.
Well, Hawley used an interesting phrase. He said a new nationalism. That's at least something of note that he said.
I feel like the night before that, I watched that Oswald Mosley episode of Peaky Blinders, and I shit you not, he said those exact words.
A new nationalism?
A new nationalism, yeah. Forming the British Fascist Party.
For somebody who is constantly whining about how the left is trying to cancel them, Josh Hawley sure does have a lot of opportunities to not shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't impressed by his performance either.
Yes, he has.
Go ahead.
Just no charisma, no stage presence, no swag, nothing. He's just out there like. Do you remember? I saw this video again today, and that's what I'm thinking of it. When Tom Steyer was dancing to Juvenile's like "Back That Ass Up."
Those two clips give off the same energy.
Yes, exactly. His dancing is what Josh Hawley is to public speaking.
Absolutely.
I can't remember, Josh, if it was you or if it was one of y'all, or just some other person on Twitter, but somebody was just like, he does have the stage presence of somebody who wants to be a stand-up comedian really bad, but has absolutely nothing to say.
But you can tell he's trying to have charisma, and it's not working.
That's the worst part.
Yeah,
and it's one of those things, Mr. Hawley, is that either you have charisma or you don't, and I don't know that CPAC is the place to try to find it. I don't know that you're going to have much luck there.
I mean, they all think that Marjorie Greene Taylor has charisma. She doesn't. She's saying funny things and she's saying the insane things you want her to, but she herself does not have. She does more than like Hawley, but
yeah.
I mean, I think she has the Trump charisma because, like, Trump undeniably has charisma, though it's not in any way that would work on you or I. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, I feel like it's not so much charisma as just she gives off a chaotic energy, and some people are just drawn. People are just drawn to chaotic energies.
She kind of seems like somebody who would cause a scene at the public library that would make it into the gossip columns.
I'm sure she has.
Yeah.
That's how she got her start. That's not true. I made that up, but it could be true.
I think it is true.
I think she got her start with a CrossFit gym, but she's one of those people that definitely goes to like city council meetings and like.
Yeah, she's the kind of person who like open carries to a school board meeting. She's beyond just your normal every week crank at the city hall.
So CPAC's lineup, incredible this year, obviously. I love that Ted Cruz joked about people freezing to death in Cancun. Or not in Cancun, in Texas. But Donald Trump is speaking, correct? As of the time of recording this, I don't think he has yet.
So he was supposed to speak at 2:40. Like, I have it on my screen right now.
Like half an hour ago.
That they're just showing a a bunch of footage of CNN anchors being stupid. Right now, Don Lemon is talking to someone.
Okay, I am interested in that. I am interested in that, but that's for later.
You're watching the live feed on mute?
Yeah, no, I just had it on my other computer, so I just.
I'm sorry, Taylor. Go ahead. I just wanted to clarify.
This is we need this info. I wonder. I hope Donald Trump comes in like a WWE type situation. There's like fireworks, and he threatens to body slam somebody. He's gonna come out hot. You know it. It's gonna.
Well, Taylor, were you on here when Josh was telling us that there's been a delay?
That there's what?
There's been a delay.
Yeah, he was supposed to speak at 2:40, and now it's 3:15, and they're showing a highlight package of CPAC West.
They found him dead on the toilet, folks.
If we could do it with Carman, maybe we could do it with Trump.
Here's what I'll say. I think I completely lost it. I don't remember. I got distracted. I can't be watching this because I got distracted by what was going
Unfortunately,
on the screen.
I do believe he's probably fine. They're just doing the comedy start time. If you say a show's going to start, Josh knows this. If they say they're going to start at 2:40, the folks that are performing, they're going to get there at 2:45. So he's just in his little green room, also known as the back porch of bookmarks.
I do need you to keep watching it, though, Josh, because I need you to burst in and let us know how he takes the stage.
If he does something exciting. Well, I think that it's going to prove that the deep state is real if he comes out and he's just kind of like low after being inside for so long. If he comes out and he doesn't have that Trump I'm back energy, then I believe that he's been put on sedatives or something by deep state agents who don't want him to speak the truth.
This is a big moment. This is a big moment.
I mean, he's probably a COVID long hauler. He's old and senile, and he's been whooped. I mean, if he came out pretty low energy, I think it's just all explained by the fact that he's a huge loser. Guy sucks shit.
What he did win, though, is the CPAC straw poll. So they took two, one with him and one without him. And with him, he got 55%. And then the winner of the one without him was Rick DeSantis, which it's in Florida, so that's probably part of it. But Don Jr. was all the way down. Right. He's someone you don't think about, but he's the kind of scumbag that could get in there.
Yeah.
Float to the top.
Are they having CPAC in Florida just because it's like the Wild West of COVID restrictions, like, in that there are none?
I think that's actually part of it, yeah.
Trump.
Right. You have to bring it to him.
You have to do the pilgrimage, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fuck, I didn't even think about that.
That said, even though he's there, his ass still can't get there on time.
I'm dying to know what's going on.
This is like further proof that this has all been further proof that like the Republican Party is just this now, you know. Like somebody asked Mitch McConnell last week or something that if he would support Trump if he were the nominee in 2024, and he said if he were the nominee, of course. I mean, we're still getting all this fanfic about bipartisanship and stuff. And these people have like been wholly the company or the organization, the ideology has been wholly subsumed by its, most rabid elements.
I mean, people were lined up to take pictures with the McCloskeys, right?
Yeah.
That was a thing that happened this weekend. What the hell?
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is not Bob Dole's fucking Republican Party anymore.
And they're all talking about potato heads and Muppets and shit. It's complete culture war convention.
I prefer them talking about those things than actual policy stuff. Like,
well,
that's
keep
true.
them distracted with potato head.
But here's where the culture war shit just is. It's so absurd, but it's like material. Like the Goya guy. We're my only update from CPAC that I'm bringing to the table is that the Goya guy got up there and like warming up for Trump a couple hours ago and said that the actual literal legitimate president of the United States was going to be speaking on that stage tonight. And so now there's a secondary boycott going on with Goya again. So that's
smart. Keep
your
name
back.
Keep your name out there. No, they as a party, that is their actual. It's just a tenet of their ideology now is that Trump legitimately won the election. It's not even like a controversial opinion on the right. It's just people who will say there are a lot of states that didn't go to the courts, and then the majority of the party will say, yeah, it was stolen, and they just believe that now.
Yeah.
And they believe all sorts of things, you know? To the potato head thing, like, yeah, it's just Mr. Potato Head, but it goes so deep into their ideology that they're willing to fight and die for Mr. Potato Head. Mr. Potato Head represents a way of life for them. You know, all of a sudden, once they're reminded of their strong attachment.
Live by the spud, die by the spud.
It's one of those things like when Skittles puts like a pride flag on their bag or whatever, or does pride colors, and it's so threatening to their personal
Skittles
identity.
Are pride colors,
right? Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they would argue that those colors were stolen from God's rainbow
from
in
God.
The Book of Genesis.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to taste the rainbow and open up your Bible.
Josh, does your dad have strong opinions on Skittles? I feel like he does.
I just don't think he likes them. He's a peanut M&M man only.
Oh man.
Jesus Christ. Every day we learn something more and more cursed about your dad. don't get me wrong, I like peanut M&Ms, but I'm just imagining him like driving you across was it New Mexico or Arizona or wherever he's from and listening to Rush Limbaugh only eating peanut M&Ms, and it's terrifying.
If I were to write like a horror movie with a psychopath killer character, he would be riding through the desert at night listening to Rush Limbaugh and only like sucking the chocolate cover off of the peanuts and then like putting them in a cup on the dashboard. So please don't reveal anything else about your dad.
Okay.
Lest we have to start taking his DNA and start lining it up. I'm sorry. I'm kidding.
No respect. Dave gets no respect.
I was actually going to ask you, this is way off topic of what we want to talk about. I was going to ask you about the AG stance on millennialism, but your dad answered it with a Twitter post yesterday. So pre-millennium they are, yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought that you were talking about like millennials. I was like, I don't know if it's simply a god like has like a stance on skinny jeans or butt. Like
no, yeah, they put out
that too.
They put out a doctrine statement on it. They stand with the Zoomers against the millennials. I keep seeing people talk about like millennials or like the young people are making fun of us. Like I see none of it, but I don't think you're supposed to try to impress high school kids.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
we are old now. You just have to accept that.
Yes.
I'm kind of in the same boat that like it's kind of like one of those we got to make fun of the people older than us, and you know what? We don't make it hard for Gen Z to make fun of us. We are, as a group of people, a bunch of dorks. And the best tweet that I've seen about it is that, like, high schoolers didn't think that I was cool when I was in high school. I don't expect them to start now. So it's fine.
Yeah.
I just want to find out which generation is selling, buying more Funko Pops. I assume it's millennials. It actually might be.
It's gotta be.
Although Gen X has more money to spend on them, so
I was gonna say Gen X.
Yeah, I definitely think.
But
it's
maybe
Gen X.
cusp. Gen X millennial cusp.
Yeah, that's true. That would be me.
And
I own
right at the edge.
Exactly, just gripping onto.
I think we've established you are the oldest millennial.
Yes, he is.
Put it on my grave. Yeah.
Are you going into the Funko Pop business, Josh?
Not yet. Not until I can get a contract to make Precious Moment Funko Pops, but I have to get two licensing deals for that.
What, you're gonna do it in house?
Yeah.
Googie's gonna be the lead designer.
I want to. I've thought about this before for Mother's Day, getting a custom Precious Moment of my mother and me in the Precious Moments chapel, because she slapped me in the face once there, and I want to get a custom Precious Moment of her slapping me.
Like in statuette form?
Yes.
The slap?
Which I assume their sculptors wouldn't do that. That would go against the Precious Moments brand. So I'm going to
find a scorned ex-employee.
Okay, that's a better path than I was going to take, by kidnapping one, putting them in my basement, and forcing them to sculpt. Just chained up.
Well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it, Josh?
Yeah.
Just spitting my peanut M&M shells at them. So, I assume everyone saw the golden Trump statue?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The name of the statue, this is at CPAC for anyone. Someone made a golden statue of Trump, and so I have some quotes from him. The name of the statue is Trump and His Magic Wand.
Excuse me. Are you
No,
lying?
this is true. This is the New York Times. Okay, so
what?
Holy shit!
The sculpture is it's Trump in his customary suit jacket and red tie, American flag shorts, and flip-flops. And he said, quote, because technically he should be retired, but he chose to be a servant.
I would scream at the top of my lungs if I saw Trump in flip-flops.
God. I hope that's what's happening right now, causing him to be like the CPAC, everyone stand down and toenails and fit in the flip-flops.
I'm looking to see if Trump is on wikifeet. Okay, he is. Oh God, yeah. So there's only one picture that's showing up, but you'll remember this one. It's the one where he's on the sitting in the white suit on the swan, like the swan seat.
I don't remember this one.
Oh, it's a classic.
I don't remember that.
But he's got feet out.
Oh God. I'm looking at it.
Is this from president?
David, you see his toes.
No,
this is presidency.
This is probably mid 90s.
Okay.
I'll drop it in the chat real quick.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Anyway, wikifeet, 5 stars from me. But, okay, so a lot of people were accusing this guy of having made a graven image, because that's the thing you're not supposed to do according to the Bible.
Not supposed to do that.
He said it's definitely not an idol. An idol is something somebody worships and bows down to. This is a sculpture. It's two different things. So he's not having that.
Look at those piggies!
Oh,
I'm looking at looking at those piggies in the chat.
It's so important to me that you mentioned that the suit and tie and pants and sandals were part of the sculptor's intent and not a something that was added later. Like, that is part of the art piece, and that really makes it something. I mean, I would argue like pretty adamantly that is like capital H, capital A, high art.
Yes. Oh, yes. And the statue itself is kind of goofy. Like the Trump on it. I don't know.
Oh, it's super goofy. Wait, did we get to what the magic wand was? Sorry, I was looking at the
No,
swan.
he doesn't say.
Oh.
I think maybe that he was acting as a magician to like fix the economy. It doesn't say. The other thing that from CPAC that I read, I always like when they show like all of the freakish things that people are buying. But so there's this woman who has a store called Bye Bye Democrats. And she said one thing. Who would buy? Well, okay, these people would buy it. She sells an image of Donald Trump drinking coffee, accompanied by the text reading, "The best part of waking up is Donald Trump is president." Which he's not. Like that.
But they think that he is. So many people think that he is. Or at least have to say it.
What is it? In a few days, was March 3rd or March 4th? He's gonna
March 4th, I think.
March 4th. He's gonna declare martial law and become president again. And Biden and Tom Hanks are gonna go to Azkaban or wherever.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
So the other thing that the Bye Bye Democrats lady said is, we've sold probably 1,400 Nancy Pelosi toilet paper rolls. Our toilet paper is always a hit.
Oh God, they always do the toilet paper. But you know who else does the novelty toilet paper is Democrats.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Liberals love to buy toilet paper with Trump's face on it.
I'm going to start a GoFundMe campaign to start a business called Bye Bye Democrats, but BUY Democrats. And it only sells, it'll have like a Trump shaped, I don't know. It'll probably just drop ship cheap products from China, just like this is. But the whole grift is that you give me a bunch of money to put in a physical space like across the place from this store. So that just a troll.
So it really does seem like Trump merchandising isn't slowing down, because our Trump pop-up in Springfield was up again this week. And now they have Trump 2024 flags. I thought at first they were just trying to like we got to get rid of this shit now, which they absolutely do. But maybe the reason that so many Republicans are backing up the lie that Trump legitimately won is because they have so much backstock merchandise for their grift business about Trump specifically.
They have to sell those flags and hats. This has to happen.
I have so many left. He has to run again.
Hey, I wanted to backing way up. Where did Don Jr. fall in that poll?
He was at 11%. Let me go down here. He was third. So it was DeSantis had 43. Then Kristi Noem had 11.
Oh.
John Jr. had 8. I'm sorry. That's even worse. Then followed by Mike Pompeo. Okay, guy.
Yikes. That's a yikes for me, dog.
Yeah.
Who Pompeo tied with Cruz. And then Tucker Carlson, Josh Hawley, Nikki Haley, Ivanka, Rand Paul. Rand Paul has won this 3 times before, so this is a useless poll.
I'm actually surprised that Ivanka polls so low. because they do have so many batshit insane women that I feel like they could use a woman for their base.
She's a fucking Democrat, dude. I mean, to the diehard, I would assume if I were a diehard, I would see her and Kushner as the globalist wing of the Trump party.
They definitely write Kushner's name with parentheses every time they write it online.
I mean, he is. A lot of the hardcores who may have been pretty excited about the Trump administration in 2015, 2016, before it started, ended up being over Trump way before things got to where they are now. Like, some of the worst racist pieces of shit in this country had already abandoned him, largely because of Kushner playing an outsized role, and they just didn't see him as ideologically pure enough.
Right.
Well, fuck them all, and fuck Biden too.
Also, it doesn't. Isn't Ivanka technically pro-choice? I think she still is, and that's a deal breaker for the evangelical.
Oh, yeah.
Even they wouldn't even. I mean, they still would have voted for Trump, but that's part of the deal. You know what I mean? Like,
she just has to. She just has to say that she's not.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
Trump made 100. I mean, Trump used to donate to pretty high profile. Donate to pro-choice organizations and fund pro-choice Democrats in New York and shit. Like, it's easy for them to put that shit out of the, that's the abortion thing is a big rally cry thing, but as seen with the Nixa, the freshman representative from state house representative from Christian County, who's a doctor. I forget if she's like an MD. I feel like she's probably like a naturopath or some shit. But she ran on a COVID truther and strong pro-life platform, and she's been indicted and is being investigated over, I think maybe even charged over scamming people by taking some sort of facial injection or whatever that did not have stem cells in it, and lying and saying that it did have stem cells in it, which is in Missouri really contentious in the pro-life thing.
No sense.
They are zero tolerance. You can't even use stem cells and shit,
They got pissed at George W. Bush for stem cell stuff.
Yeah.
back in his era,
for sure. It's just a thing of convenience. The ideological consistency is not a hallmark of fascism.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
They would forgive her in a second if she said she was anti-abortion, but actually, I was going to say, she might say, I'm personally pro-choice, but I'm going to legislate against it. I don't know how that would work, but I think she still has the idea that she can go back to New York society now and be friends with all her liberal friends, but I don't think that's going to shake out.
I don't know. Give it a year or two. Yeah.
Yeah, give her 2 years.
She can. I think if she wanted to be accepted back into those circles, she'd have to post a Notes app apology, and then 6 months later, start randomly popping up at brunches, and then she's really changed. She's really been working on herself, and now she's back in our good graces. That's how it always works.
Alyssa Milano is going to go to brunch with her to heal the nation.
Yeah.
Well, once Alyssa says she's okay, then I'll let her back.
She's gonna have a cameo in the Sex and the City reboot, and she'll be back at cocktail parties with her friends by the end of the year.
She can replace whichever one of the Sex and the City women isn't going to be in it.
Yeah.
Kim Cattrall, I think.
Oh, I don't know.
Is that it? Is it Samantha? Wait, I figured you'd be a Sex in the City head, Josh, considering you're
Yeah, honestly did.
Look, it does fall into the wheelhouse of things that I should have watched, but I never did. And I feel like it really wouldn't hold up now.
Yeah, it's too late now. I went back and watched some recently and didn't hold up.
I tried to watch rewatch Dawson's Creek. This was probably like 5 years ago, but Dawson's Creek does not hold up. I only got through about 80 episodes, and then I called
it. Proud of your bravery, Joshua.
All right, now
hey, what's the CPAC update?
Yeah.
Wait, what's
Trump
the
talking?
CPAC update?
No, he's not.
All right.
It's been an hour.
You gotta leave them wanting more.
Yeah, exactly.
Trump's not talking, and we're talking about CW vintage. So I think should jump into what's going on in state houses in Arkansas and Missouri. Yeah, there's a lot going on right now.
Yeah, let's get into it.
There's so much bad shit right now. Good Lord. They really got to work.
They really did. Arkansas had a busy week. First, so I talked a couple weeks ago, not very educated, about Arkansas's Stand Your Ground law that was making its way through our state Congress, whatever you want to call it. And it had failed in one chamber, and I assumed that it was dead, but it wasn't. They ended up passing it through committee, and then let me see here. They ended up passing it through committee, and then it went to Jesus Christ, I cannot talk. It went to the House, where it passed 72-23. Arkansas right now has on the law books says basically you can't shoot anybody if you can safely retreat. And now you can shoot somebody. There's been a lot of people that have been back and forth. We talked about Stephanie Flowers, I believe it was last week, who called someone a dumbass on the floor, which was incredible. She's been an outspoken opponent of this bill. Let me read you part of it here. Opponents of the bill have argued that stand your ground laws harm minority groups and have taken a violent toll on Black communities. Representative Fred Allen of Little Rock was the first to speak against the bill on the House floor Wednesday. He said stand your ground laws have deadly effects across the country by increasing homicides and encouraging legal racial biases. This bill is designed to make headlines, not headway, Allen said. This bill is designed to take lives, not save lives. Representative Aaron Pilkington presented the bill to the House on Wednesday. In his closing remarks, he said the bill is designed to protect Arkansans, and that's how they say it in the article.
It might be your Kansans.
Who make a... I quit. I can't do this. Who make a snap decision to protect themselves in those situations. You don't always have time to decide if you can safely retreat or not. That's why I believe we need the stand your ground law. They tried to pass one back in 2019, and it failed. But this one, earlier this month, the House Judiciary Committee committee voted against SB 24, but passed it out of the committee in a 10-9 voice vote on Tuesday. Governor Asa Hutchinson now has 5 days, excluding today, Sunday, to sign the bill. He's not said if he supports the bill or not, but in 2019, he said the state's current self-defense laws is quote-unquote strong, and that he was hesitant to change it.
Oh.
He's going to sign it. They passed it. He's going to sign it, right?
Oh, yeah. He's absolutely going to sign it.
I don't remember when we passed ours, but it's been 3 or 4 years now. And it's not good.
No. It is just really scary. One, because and like they said in the article there, that was from it was just a ABC7 article that I pulled up. It is really scary because ultimately these laws do end up affecting mostly minority communities, and I've never heard a success story of a stand your ground law, if we're being honest. And Arkansas has got a lot of problems. We have too many Duggars, for one, and I don't see this being a good thing. I don't see it ending well, and it is disheartening knowing that old Asa is gonna just sign it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really
but that's
bad legislation. And they make it's always so vague, it feels like, you know?
Yeah.
It opens up so many legal possibilities for people to just get away with murder. Is the worst part.
And like exactly just like that, you know, stand your ground laws kind of came at least into my collective consciousness, you know, with the Trayvon Martin case.
Right.
And
I mean, there's
George Zimmerman absolutely could have safely retreated because Trayvon Martin was 16, 17-year-old kid walking home with Skittles and iced tea in his pockets, and was just minding his own business. And we all saw how that played out, and George Zimmerman got the gun back.
There's your success of the law working. I mean, that's the outcome.
Yeah.
That is acceptable, you know?
Those laws seem to have come into the consciousness with that case, and a bunch of states that didn't have it looked at that case and said, hey, we want to do it. We want to do that too. You know what I mean? Like, it seems to pick up support because all those people liked Zimmerman. You know what I mean? Like, he was an aspirational figure for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so gross.
I don't know if anyone remembers that Hannity, like, ran interference for, like, had him on a bunch of times and, like, was acting as his legal defense for the public, basically. And after that, George Zimmerman just kept revealing over and over that he was a total psychopath.
Yeah, I mean, that's what people seemed pretty, like, thrown off by, like, the meme. God, I can't say it. Memification. Jeez. Memification of Kyle Rittenhouse. But I don't know how you could be blindsided by that after the way that George Zimmerman was memified into like a hero to a certain sector of society. I don't know, man.
Someone like Elliot Rodger was almost an automatic meme for like certain like online communities. Maybe not to the point that Rittenhouse was, but
I mean, it's propaganda of the deed. Is what that reflects. You know, you do it. It sets up a cultural battle over it, and it convinces a bunch of new people that is something that is acceptable to do.
It's a deranged, diseased way of thinking.
Yeah.
Trump has taken the stage. He's clapping for himself as everyone applauds. Doing his slow lurch back and forth across the stage and pointing at people
smiling?
Clapping.
Does he got the shit-eating grin on?
Not as much as I want him to have. But
is he dancing?
He's not dancing.
No fireworks?
So...
We'll never see the man dance again. He's broken. He did his last YMCA shuffle.
I mean, we don't deserve it anymore. Like we're all trash that didn't go. You could have had me dancing for 4 more years, but no.
Okay, well, things are equally bad in the Missouri legislation. So I crawled through all of the bills in the House right now, and I made a spreadsheet of them. And
good Lord.
This is just the House.
This is just the House, and not even anywhere close to the amount of bills that there actually are. There was over 1,000 bills introduced, and this is just like 60 of them that were particularly insane. And, most of them are just bureaucratic stuff, right? And then so many of these will never, ever, ever make it out of committee. But you never know what's going to happen. But I don't know. Let me start with some of the funny ones, I guess.
And the Republicans have a supermajority in both the House and Senate, like quite a bit.
Yeah.
In Missouri. So they could do any of these that they decide they want to do.
Anything that they want to with these.
Yeah. So how about Christmas in July?
I support this one. This is a good idea.
There's no better way to start a meaningful tradition than to legislate it. That's how all good things start. So I think they're on the right path. I hope that they mandate like what movies did you watch during Christmas in July?
It's only one day. It's July 21st, and everyone will be encouraged to decorate their house for Christmas and engage in whatever traditions you do on Christmas on July 21st.
Okay, a couple of questions. One, why would it not be on July 25th?
Is it 187 days away or whatever? 100 and... whatever that is.
Yeah, I bet that's it. It's the exact half point.
Oh.
182.
Well,
182 and a half?
No, I guess it wouldn't work because...
Everything about this is stupid, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It would be in June, right?
No! That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Well, anything that takes any kind of the shine away from the 4th of July is good with me. So I support this. I support getting more presents.
This means we go from Flag Day to 4th of July to Christmas in July, and I hate it.
Okay, no. Let's put me in office so I can bring...
Josh, we've been begging you to run.
Well, no, listen. I will bring jobs to the state by getting Hallmark to we'll give them incentives to make Christmas in July movies for the only state that has Christmas in July recognized.
So we have very few tax credits for filming here, which is why nothing is filmed here. They film in Georgia or North Carolina if they want to set it here. But we could do that, so it's only if the theme is Christmas in July.
Yeah.
100% write-off. You don't have to pay any state taxes at all, as long as you're making movies about Christmas in July.
I really think we're onto something here.
The only other thing I want in the contract is Yakov gets to make a cameo in every film that you do. Part of the deal. Our adopted son.
Also, who's going to haul their asses up on a ladder in the middle of fucking July heat to put Christmas lights on their house?
Well, that's why you
for
gotta,
one day.
You got to invest in the pricey ones that you can leave up all year.
I don't think it had to be pricey to leave them up all year. They used to be white trash to do.
Well, this has been my question. It takes me months to put away any Christmas decorations that I get out. So if I now have to do this 2 times a year, I won't get July's Christmas decorations down until Halloween.
It just makes it Christmas all year.
Yeah. Just sometimes your 20-foot tall skeleton for Halloween just is also wearing a little elf hat.
But that's actually a House resolution from LaDonna Applebaum in St. Louis. Thank you for being hard at work for Missourians, Miss Applebaum.
Yeah, and I don't want to be... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I don't want to be a party pooper here. Are there no other problems in Missouri that could use some focus right now? It seems like maybe I'm not from Missouri, so maybe I should not be the one speaking out on this, but it kind of seems like maybe there's some things that they could that could be addressed,
Well,
I would say
it's funny you mentioned that because Nick Schreier from O'Fallon also filed a resolution that is much more pressing matter, and he is calling for Schumer and Pelosi to resign.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
So that would just be Missouri formally calling on two California and New York members of...
Yeah. I mean, it's just a House resolution, too, so it's not even the state of Missouri. It's only the Missouri House of Representatives.
Okay.
I
mean, there's a bunch of these are like just goofy-ass culture war stuff.
Mary Elizabeth...
Are we going to send...
Oh, go ahead.
We're going to send a resolution... I was going to say, we're going to send a resolution to Disney that says, you can't make Winnie the Pooh trans.
No, the trans stuff is much meaner than that, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's some really bad anti-trans stuff in here. But we'll get to that. There's also the Mary Elizabeth Coleman introduced the Donald J. Trump Highway in Jefferson County. Jason Chipman.
Let's really show our loyalty to Trump and rename any part of Route 66 in the state Route Trump or something like that.
Or like
Route 45.
Yeah.
Oh, Josh, you have to put that on your agenda once you get into office.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jason Chipman wants to prohibit any public education institute from accepting gifts from China.
Okay.
And then,
Which
of course,
actually would have material effects because Missouri State has a sister school in China and does a lot of programs over there. So depending on, and probably Mizzou too. I mean, most of the public schools probably have ties to a learning institution in China. So that'll actually have material effects, probably.
Yeah, it'll limit cross-cultural exchange, which isn't that the point of setting up those programs?
As a gift, if there's giving scholarships to MSU students to come do a year at their sister campus, which I can't remember what school it is, but if they're giving scholarships for that, is that a gift?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, that's a good, not idea. That's a good point. There's also the Great Missouri Smokeout Day.
420, baby.
Yeah, what is this barbecue related or?
I imagine so. I was just being childish and I thought it was funny.
I like the idea of just hot boxing the House of Representatives or again, a job creator if they would just legalize recreational use of weed in the state by also making a national smoke up day. Well,
the jobs would be offset by the cops that are no longer needed.
I don't know. They can work double hard on skateboarders skating in non-skating zones.
Yeah. I mean, there was just like some big blow up, like a big bust in Clinton, I think, which was maybe 1.5 pounds. They didn't even have a gun in the picture. It was literally just they're just selling fucking weed. And it was like 3 21-year-olds they arrested and probably ruined their lives, you know.
God damn.
But what were those Clinton cops going to do otherwise?
Pulled me over on September 11th, 2001.
Speed trap, man. You got to be really 2001. You on September 11th.
we drove to Lawrence because we were going to see a propaganda show because we're in. So
Damn,
So this was 2001, obviously. So there wasn't the same kind of like social media, like Twitter wasn't around, so we couldn't get instant updates of, oh, we canceled our tour and went back to Canada. So we drove. We still thought that there was going to be a punk show that night. So we drove to Lawrence, and there was just like a note on the door that said, show canceled. And
Was
so
that the
we went to a
bottleneck?
record. Yeah, yeah. And then we just drove back to Springfield. But on the way back, got pulled over in that stupid speed trap in Clinton. Because I don't think I'd driven that way very much at that point in my life.
Did you have any weed on you?
No, I did not. I was a nice straight-edge boy. I was going back to Bible school.
Are you telling me nobody smokes weed at Bible school?
No one on my floor did.
They're stoned for Jesus.
Actually, now that I think about it, the kid that came the first day wearing an anti-Crombie shirt. Very cool.
Damn.
That we derisively called anti-Crombie for the rest of the 2 years he went there. He probably smoked, now that I think about it.
Yeah, probably a pretty safe bet, Josh.
Well, there's also, we know about the Rush Limbaugh Day, but there's also a Rush Limbaugh Highway proposed.
They'll probably get that
Cape
through.
Girardeau, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the Missouri Manhood Challenge.
Excuse me, the what?
Is this like the presidential fitness test, but for adults?
No, we are all gonna mandatorily. We all have to whip our dicks out on a table.
Okay, hang on. I'm trying to look it up. It's from Doug Ritchie in Excelsior Springs.
The Manhood Challenge is a day where all men get to send dick pics to women all day without it being complained about in the state of Missouri.
Yeah, I think that's just every day.
Yeah, but women can't complain.
Oh, we can't. Okay.
Dang it, I can't find it. But no, it just has this long screed about
Must be a
all
grower.
the reasons that society is failing is because men aren't allowed to live up to their full potential in their manhood.
So is this more of an MRA thing or like a promise keeper, like Christian thing, like the love dare, like honor your wife and that kind of thing, or is it more?
It's kind of a mix between the two, actually.
Okay.
It
evokes in me like the idea of like the 50s man walking through the gate and the white picket fence, and his wife and 2 kids are waiting for him at the door, kind of stuff.
It has a thing. It says a thing about promising not to objectify women, because
okay, so that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying. I can't find. I was going to read the language, but I can't find the House resolutions in here.
They're subhuman, but they're not objects. It's important. You really have to get the nuance, kids.
But yeah. So that's actually making moves too.
That does not surprise me. They're going to make every boy in Missouri read Adam Carolla's book. In 20 years, we'll all be chicks, or whatever the name of that
is. Okay, so those are just kind of the sillier ones, but here are some really bad ones. So HB 53 from Adam Schnelting, and holy shit, is Adam Schnelting fucking terrifying. He's from St. Charles, and he has so many batshit insane things in here. And so this one, the Governor's Patriotism Advisory Commission, comprised of 7 members appointed by the governor with the task of promoting the implementation of education and awareness programs that will increase awareness of the history and principles of the United States. And then it'll be like, you get a Governor's Patriot Award and blah, blah, blah. But it's all about just putting propaganda into schools more than it already is.
1776 commission for our state instead of for Trump.
Exactly.
I don't know if you guys remember that. They put out as like one of his last things as president. It came out on, I think the report came out on January 19th. And it was
it got rescinded on like the first day of the Biden administration.
It lasted like a day, and it included what's his name? I'm spacing on it now. But the president of C of O, the president of one of the big Bible colleges, like crazy Bible colleges up in Michigan, Hillsong maybe, who is from like Black Rock, Arkansas, or some shit. So. He's kind of our neck of the woods, too. But anyways, it's just that for the schools in Missouri.
And it complements, this brings up the Sites Watch, because Sites has the... he
We're
has...
add Superman to our state flag.
Hey, I'm on the lookout for when he introduces the official Superman Day in Missouri. I know that's coming next session. But no, he has a thing prohibiting the 1619 from being taught in schools.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. He also has another one that the Missouri House of Representatives would be able to render presidential orders unconstitutional.
Which, I mean... there should be. I don't know. It's kind of goofy, but also it sets the stage for some things if that were to pass. You know,
right?
Yeah. Like if it passes, that's not good. It's objectively bad. So Schnelting, he has a lot. He put forward a lot. HB 56 is the Fleeing Motorist Protection Act, which fucking sucks. It makes it legal to drive over a protester with your car and not be able to be held civilly or criminally liable for it.
Holy shit.
And I'm pretty sure there's been numerous of these proposed in the past in the wake of Unite the Right in Charlottesville. This is when it really started. I think South Dakota actually passed one, but it's notable here because there's also one, I believe, in the Senate that was introduced by Rick Bratton, who has some very similar legislative goals as Schnelting here. Like a lot of them line up, and so they'll just end up, if they pass individual houses, then they'll end up being, perfected or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Well, this one, it complements Senate Bill 26. I don't have the name of the bill here, but it...
I know Bratton had a whole list that looks a lot like Schnelting's does here, and I don't know if Bratton also pre-filed his, but I know I saw most of these back in late December during the pre-file period. I mean, Adam Schnelting came to this session with an agenda that he wanted to get done.
Is he new? Has he been around for a while?
He's been around for 3 years, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, this Fleeing Motors Protection Act complements the Senate Bill 26, which there's a bunch of shit packed into it, but some of the worst stuff is it makes it a felony if a victim of a crime is a law enforcement officer or other first responder, then that crime becomes a dangerous felony and you are ineligible for probation.
Any crime or just a violent crime? Like if I if I walk up on a Corolla, smash the window, and steal the fucking stereo out of it, and it turns out that belonged to a cop, am I charged with a hate crime?
I have the language here. This act adds to the offenses ineligible for probation any dangerous felony where the victim is a law enforcement officer, firefighter, or an emergency service provider while in the performance of his or her duties.
Okay, well, we expanded what a dangerous felony meant last year in the last session, and I can't remember the exact wording of it, but it was all pretty bad stuff. So this is just us furthering the expansion of that definition of dangerous felony, which brings with it much more serious charges.
Yeah.
Denial of parole, etc.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like if you hurt a police officer's feelings on the internet, you're going to fucking go to prison.
Well, they're trying to outlaw. Was it Schnelting that was protected? Yeah, HB 59 is you can, if you identify post anything identifying pictures or video of a police officer, you can be charged with a crime. So if you record a police officer, you're posting quote unquote identifiable information, right? So
yeah,
this might be
if you post.
This might be a hot take, but if your police officers act in such a way that people need to record them to keep themselves safe, it kind of sounds like they're shitheads. Maybe we shouldn't be protecting them so much. Maybe they should actually be the ones going to jail. Why do people get so fucking hard over the police?
There is so much back the blue legislation in here.
Disgusting.
It is so much.
Yeah, I don't know about. We could get into like some deep psychoanalysis and cultural analysis to try to to land at why the people at large who back the blue do, but like looking through this list that Harvey compiled, like there's so much law enforcement shit in here, and it's because they're ideologically aligned, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you read Adam Schnelting's like 11 or so bills here, like he has a clear agenda. Like he wants a governor's patriotism committee. He wants you to be able to carry a concealed weapon basically anywhere. He wants to preserve our Confederate monuments. He wants you to be able to run over protesters and get away with it. He wants you to lose your unemployment if you're caught rioting, but also he wants rioting to be like a much looser term. Basically, anybody who's in a place with a group that gets called unlawful assembly is now a rioter, and then you lose access.
Once you get run over by someone's truck while you're protesting, you become a rioter by doing violence.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. He wants to start a state Department of Defense. He has a Religious Liberty Act. Yeah.
I hadn't gotten to the State Department of Defense yet. The House Bill 60, listen to this, creates a Department of Defense and transfers the powers, duties, and functions vested in the Office of Adjutant General, who is like the Commander-in-Chief of the National Guard, the State Militia, and the Office of the State Judge Advocate for the Department of Public Safety. Supporters say that this bill will provide a proper chain of command without a middleman.
Right.
To call up the militia.
So wait, the governor's not even... It's not even Mike's militia. It's just the head of the National Guard.
Well, okay, so we have like the Missouri National Guard, but we also have a state militia, like an office of the state militia, I think, which is I have no idea how that works. I just stumbled on one of their pages on Facebook, and it is like a literal like arm of the government, but I don't know how robust it is or anything. But he's basically consolidating any of the paramilitary in the state into one like consolidated thing that the governor can access. Meanwhile, there's a bill in the Senate, right? That is that allows
Senate Bill 528. That is creating the secret police for all intents and purposes.
The secret fucking it is a list of volunteer civilian militia.
Oh no.
But the list is secret. The list is
secret, and it's a felony to release the list. And the only thing that's given on the list is names and addresses. I mean, and it looks like it's moving. Like, this bill's fucking moving, and it moved all the way.
It moved all the way through the Senate and has now gone to the House.
Right.
Wait, no, I'm sorry. That was Senate Bill 26, the one I was talking about earlier. But I do believe 528, the secret police, is also on the move.
If we had a Missouri secret police under Greitens, he would have used them to extort or whatever the woman he was already extorting, but with a little bit more secret police power.
Yeah.
That's what I worry about. I mean, we can figure out a way to share this list, and Harvey's, I think you're like on this project, right? You're gonna keep an eye on. You pulled these ones out specifically to keep an eye on them and see where they go.
Yeah. I'm trying to.
So maybe I can share this list with in the show notes or something. But if you look through this list, there is who knows what a level of coordination it is or whatever. But if you look through this list, the ideological expression of this party that has the super majority, at least of a significant number of them, of the active legislators, they have an ideological agenda that is Christo-fascist. They are laying all of the foundations here from recognizing special forms of marriage.
Yeah, there's the Covenant Marriage Act. There's there's several anti-trans pieces, pro-law enforcement, anti-vax, religious freedom, 2A, pro-gun. Second Amendment.
Yeah. It's
just packed full of that. Born Alive, Abortion Survivors Protection Act.
I mean, making assault against a law enforcement officer a hate crime. I mean, the LEO Bill of Rights. These people are expressing it's fucking taken as a whole like a fascist project. Whether or not it's any kind of intentional coordination towards some sort of future that there is a people with a plan for, or if it is just the fact that this is their ideology, and so of course the legislation that they write is going to reflect their ideology, regardless of whether or not they're organized. I don't know, man. This shit is pretty fucking terrifying, honestly.
It really is.
There's these are tea leaves that must be read. I don't know.
And there's a bunch of pro landlord stuff. There's a bunch of anti-worker, anti-union stuff. It's all bad. And then, like I said, not all of this is going to pass, but here are some things that the one from Schnelting about not being able to post videos of law enforcement, basically passed all the way through the House and has made it to the Senate now. The State Department of Defense reported due pass, so it's going to be going through more committees. A real crazy 2A one from a guy in Nixa, Jared Taylor, which makes Missouri immune to any federal gun law.
Oh, yeah.
That one went all the way through the House.
There's a lot of state sovereignty stuff in here, too, notably.
Yeah. The hate crime against law enforcement is in committee after passing a vote. And, there's also several incentives to become a police officer in Missouri, such as a tuition reimbursement from the police academy, and also a tax credit. Yeah. Bad stuff.
That's so wild. I saw an article today about somebody who had been overpaid on their unemployment from when they lost their job back when the pandemic first started. And Mike Parsons commented, he was like, well, you owe to the taxpayers if you were overpaid to pay it back. And so we're going to make people who lost their jobs pay money back, but we're also going to give police officers tax incentives to become police officers. What the fuck? I hate it here.
Are they going to start recruiting like they do for the military, or they might already. I haven't been to a high school in a long time. Just put up like tables and have cops trying to recruit
I think that's called the DARE program.
The basketball team.
Oh, I'm sure.
And that's what the DARE program just teaches you to be a narc.
If this elementary school that our son was going to before the whole COVID thing is any indication, they don't need to. Because if you walk down the hallway with the "When I grow up, I want to be," and all the boy names say soldier or cop.
Every single one.
Every single one of them.
And when you have something like the Governor's Advisory Commission or whatever it was, you take these Patriotism Advisory Board, you pump this propaganda into these kids all throughout their schooling, and then they turn 18 and you tell them you'll give them a little bit of money to become a cop or to join the militia, and they've been fired up about all of this, their entire schooling career, and so they fall right into it. I don't know. I see it all works together, and it all complements each other to form a really horrifying vision of the future.
Yeah.
And crucially in Missouri, like was mentioned a couple times now, that you have the supermajority, and it's a redistricting year, and so they're going to. And Amendment 3 just passed, which allows the state to draw. That allows the legislature to draw legislative district boundaries again. So they're going to just entrench power, and if this is the road that we're going down, we have no. What can we possibly do to stop it? There is no public opposition. I mean, you can barely get fucking reporting on these matters because our news media has been completely hollowed out so that people can, like, fucking Jake Tapper and Chris Cillizza can make millions of dollars. We don't have, like a news leader reporter who's stationed at the fucking state house to write all this shit up. We don't have an opposition party in Missouri because they've been drummed out of every single position of power except for auditor, and it does not look good for them winning
and because
ever
they don't,
again in this state.
And because they don't fight back. They don't have any heart to play dirty like all of these motherfuckers do. None of them are afraid to play dirty, but any Democrat in Missouri is terrified to. And it goes back to what I was saying. If these crazy fucks can get in there and submit all of this batshit insane legislation, then why can't someone else on the left get in there and submit anything they wanted to? Actual legislation that would actually help people. And of course,
I mean, the problem is it costs money to run for these positions, and the only place to really get money is from the state party or private donors. And if you're actually on the left and want to actively attack capital, then you can't ask the capitalists for donations, and the party
the Democrats
won't give you any
aren't going to do
donations,
that.
and so you're fucked.
Because they would rather lose. They would rather lose than to do that.
They would rather fucking lose. I'm sorry, Josh is going to get mean
Josh is going to get so many emails
while we sit here and talk shit on the Missouri Democratic Party. Again, the email address is hootinhollerpod@gmail.com. I'm the one who primarily checks that, and if you want to say something mean about it, come on.
What we need to do is run a lot of influencers with tax incentives for influencers and recruiting money for influencers, and a law that if you mess with an influencer while they're filming themselves, it will be all the blue stuff, but for
except around here, all the influencers are at best like crypto like centrist Republicans. Like
we're going to import influencers. We're going to import them.
Yeah, well, they're all going to end up selling fucking MLMs and sharing information about vaccine injury.
Yeah. Did I mention there's a ton of anti-vax legislation in here too?
Anti-vax shit.
Susie Pollock is another one to watch. She's an anti-trans, anti-vax is all of her legislation.
And she's unfortunately one of ours. She's from Pulaski County, the southern half of Lebanon, I think.
There's one more I wanted to talk about because it's it's my state senator, but Senate Bill 51, which has already passed, it was the COVID liability thing where just healthcare facilities, right, aren't liable to pay any damages related to COVID to their workers. But very few Republicans voted against it, except for Mike Moon, because it did not go far enough for him. He wanted it to extend to all businesses and religious organizations. And here's a quote from the Joplin Globe. During debate, White asked Moon his thoughts on a hypothetical situation. White asked Moon if he had a problem with a minister and council of elders knowingly having COVID-19, not telling anyone, and exposing the entire congregation. Moon said that because of the high recovery rate for COVID-19, no, I don't have a problem with that.
So this is what worries about me where I live. Mike Moon represents my state Senate district, right? And he ran for he hit term limits in the House. He's a freshman senator. He ran as having been the most conservative member of the state House. And he was in a very competitive primary. God knows how much fucking money they spent. I didn't get more mail from even my debtors during election time than in this fucking Senate primary. And he was outflanked to the right. Well, he didn't end up getting outflanked, I guess, but someone tried to run to his right. And it was a close fucking race. I mean, I don't remember what the final was, but it was 3 or 4 points in a district where basically where Mike Moon had the advantage of having, a House career behind him. So I don't know, man. That shit spooks me. It spooks me to my fucking core. Maybe overreacting to some of this shit because we don't have the information to know what the appetite is for these things to pass, right? And also we don't know what the Supreme Court would, if this was challenged on its constitutionality and ended up at the Supreme Court, we don't know what the fucking Supreme Court's gonna do now. It's a very scary lineup in the Supreme Court. And some of the shit, like Missouri's not alone by any means. There's scary ass bills coming through like every state house right now, especially the ones with Republican supermajorities. And we have no idea when these things are inevitably challenged as constitutional or unconstitutional, what the Supreme Court is going to say.
Right. I have no confidence in the Supreme Court not to even hear these cases at this point.
Yeah.
And what are we supposed to do about it? Because, like we said, if Republicans want to pass any of this stuff, they can, because there's no opposition party. And, call your senators, call your congresspeople. They don't give a fuck.
Call them and tell them to eat, suck your butthole or something. I Use it as catharsis. Try and make them feel bad. Make them block your number. But I mean, how are you going to convince somebody like Adam Schnelting to not be a fascist? How are you going to convince Brian Seitz not to vote for all these fucking things whenever, like he believes in like the guy's a fucking fascist. There are so many Christo-fascists in this legislature. It is terrifying.
First Reformed theme sewing circles.
The scary thing about people running to any of the state Republicans' right is once you get past the primary and you have the R next to your name, you're going to win. In most of these things.
Absolutely.
And
Brian Seitz won by 52 points or whatever.
Yeah. And so someone running to, I don't think the running to Billy Long to get into the U.S. Congress will work. But if you ran against Lincoln Huff, but were a little bit more less just kind of regular business Republican. Well, I don't actually know what he is, but if you could run to his right and win, and then come with even crazier ideas about giving reward money for killing protesters or that kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. They're
wave.
They're gonna keep trying and seeing what sticks to the wall, because not all of this passes, right? But if they keep getting more and more seats, which is what they're doing with the gerrymandering, then they're gonna keep throwing more and more things out to see what sticks. Do you know what a covenant marriage is, Josh?
We didn't have them, but I'm going to guess that a covenant marriage is a marriage that's not done legally through the state, but it's a religious marriage.
So how it's defined in this bill is a marriage between a man and a woman where they promise to be married until they die and also get 8 hours of counseling from their pastor before they get married. But
that's just called a marriage where I'm
from. This bill from Mitch Boggs of La Russell, you can choose to have a covenant marriage recognized on your official state marriage license, which seems just like a dumb thing, right?
Yeah, what does this do?
Well, it does nothing now until what? They decide you can't get tax breaks unless you have a covenant marriage.
Yeah.
How far do they take it?
It creates... It sets the stage for creating it allows you to have like a marriage and then what's going to turn into like marriage plus,
The Patreon for marriages.
Yeah.
Well, I hope if this happens, it leads to my dad being forced to counsel gay couples for 10 hours before their marriages.
No, but it says in this bill, it very specifically states that a covenant marriage is between a man and a woman.
It's a man and a woman.
Yeah.
Of course.
So that sets the stage to delegitimize same-sex marriage as well.
Right.
Tom Cotton wrote a paper when he was in Harvard about covenant marriages. I discovered that.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. But he did not get a covenant marriage when he got married during his campaign, suspiciously to a girl that no one had ever heard of. So he just knew she liked birthday cake, and he had to
I'd like to ask him about that.
A lot of people would like to ask him. He was just on the campaign trail, and then came back on Monday. He's like, I got married, and everyone's like, okay, Tom.
He just wanted wedding cake. He wanted to see if it was as good as birthday cake. But I've never really thought about this before, but I guess you probably have to pay the pastor for all the time? Like, if they're doing 8 hours of couples counseling? Because my dad always, like, talked to couples before. I don't know how much time it was before he married them. But I always just thought, oh, that's just a service a pastor provides. But not like 8 or 10 hours, right?
Well, I feel like it's probably not all in one session, right?
No, right. But it's still your time.
Well, you see, I don't understand anything about how this works because Mormons do all of this on volunteer status. Mormons don't get paid for their labor.
Yeah, it depends on if you see yourself as a servant of the Lord or an employee of the Lord, Josh. How would you describe your relationship with God?
I would say much like Trump, even though I should be retired wearing flip-flops, I am a servant. And yeah.
Listen, if I have learned...
I may be an hour late, but...
If I have learned anything about Jesus from the internet, is that he was a fan of free markets, so... They better charge him.
Oh, fuck. Well, do we have any other terrible news?
What's Trump doing now? Is he still talking?
Yeah.
He's getting a standing ovation. He's still talking, but
oh, boy.
It's one of those slow ones where some people stand up and then you kind of get annoyed that you have to stand up too.
My
Did Mike Lindell...
I guess, is which... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna talk about My Pillow guy. It's not important.
I was just gonna say my last point on a serious note is that like this guy, like this, people thought that if this guy lost, people would just like the spell would be off. It seemed like, you know, I feel like some people still are feeling like the spell is off, and maybe the spell broke for them where they're not going to sleep thinking about Trump and waking up thinking about Trump. But clearly, like this idea, this philosophy, like if you can call it anything such coherent, of like MAGA-ism or whatever, has taken hold of the Republican Party in a way that allows like every other worst ideation of the Republicans to also kind of fit itself under the umbrella of it. And so things are not really going to get better as if things continue like this, because in Missouri, like shit like this, the things that we're seeing now, this is just like the first wave. When people like Lincoln, Hugh, Huff, Howe, whatever the fuck his name is, I don't understand English. Whatever he votes down on some of these things, he's going to get primaried to the right, and people like him are going to get primaried from the right, you know? And the supermajority is just going to not only be a supermajority, but it'll be filled with even worse.
It will be rabid. You know, like it will just get,
yeah.
How long will that? I don't know. How do you fix that? How long can we continue like that without things just completely fucking falling apart? You know, like.
Well, especially if there's no opposition to it. If you don't vigorously oppose it, then of course it's going to take over.
Yeah. Well, on that note,
here's one thing I'm gonna say. So at CPAC, they were supposed to wear masks inside because it was the hotel's policy.
Uh-huh.
And people kept getting in trouble for not wearing masks. And I read this thing, and I'm gonna read this sentence. Conservative influencer Rogan O'Handley was forcibly removed. Where do they find these people?
There's millions of them. There's literally millions of them.
They'll just keep popping up, and they'll just be more and more crazy every time.
Type that name into Facebook. You'll get like 14 hits.
There's some Missouri congressperson named Nate Tate.
Nate Tate.
Why? Just go by Nathaniel at that point, man.
Yeah, right?
Right, yeah.
Right? Nathaniel
Well, you want to stick in voters' heads.
Nathaniel Tate's a nice name. Nate Tate.
Okay, well,
good God.
I think that probably does it for this week, yes?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
unless you have more terrible bills.
I don't, but I'm just going to do the outro thing now. since we're all here, as you may have noticed, this is the first episode since episode 1, 4 months into this thing or so, that we've all 4 been here together. So that was nice. Good talking.
Woo!
Good talking all together again. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be at least the regular order of things for now. So that's exciting. Anyways, if you like the show, you can find us on all the social medias at Hoot and Holler Pod. You can support the show by going to patreon.com at Hoot and Holler Pod, or by just telling a friend about it, sharing the episode, etc. We do appreciate it. I don't think I have anything else. There will be a song at the end of this, and I don't know what it is, so I will not intro it now, but you can find out what it is in the show notes per usual. Anybody have... Did I miss anything?
You got it, man.
My internet went out, so...
Okay. All right, thanks for coming through. See you next week.